All right, so we're catching up to speed here, guys. So this is going to be a bit of a faster intro to this one, but we've got another best of 3 in round 2 of Titans League. Silver. Obviously, the ultimate goal here is going to be for these players to move on their way towards gold. Gold will be starting in January. This happens kind of right before and is still using the first season settings because this is the first season for silver. Kamigawa, a player who used to be super good. He's still really talented. I'm just excited to see him back playing. Kind of an old timer, you could say. I met this guy at a LAN in like 2016 or something. So he's been around a long time. And then Uzzi's a Mexican player who I think is in much better shape at the moment and I think has reached greater heights. And Uzzi's playing as the Hindustanis. And the number one thing you talk about in this Civ matchup is, can the Hindustanis get to Ghoulims? Ghoulims are like the Mayan Shredder. It's an anti-archer unit, but it also has a bonus against Eagle Warriors. And all Mayans do is go for those things right there. So it's like, it's the ultimate unit against the Mayans. Now, I've seen instances of Mayans beating the Hindustanis, even if the Ghoulims are out, but the player who was controlling the Mayans was the Viper. So it definitely changes your thought process a little bit on that. And the way he played it was he went into Plumed Archers. Because Plumed Archers have this nifty little bonus where they get +1 attack versus infantry if they're regular plumes. And then they get +2 bonus attack versus infantry if they're elite. Which leads to like, I forget how much damage they end up doing. Can someone tell me what would an elite plume do? Is that like... Trying to do the math here. But I think they end up doing 5 damage to a Ghoulim with each hit. I forget exactly. I don't know the exact math. But that additional bonus damage they get actually means that mass plumed archers trade pretty effectively against Ghoulims. If you have the castles, if you have God tier micro, and obviously those things are easier said than done. So we'll see. Now, I don't know if Kamigawa knows that. I haven't seen him too active on the ladder. So I imagine he's seen enough about the Ghoulim to know it's a threat. Uzzi is super active and playing all the time, and I think he even reached 2,400 or really close to it on the ladder. So Uzzi's genuinely one of the favorites to make it into gold in his group. But Kamigawa comes in here as the underdog. They do 3 damage. As the 3 damage doesn't seem like as much as what it looks like. I guess it's because there's like, if you have like 50 plumes, Ghoulims only have so much HP. Okay, they do 3 damage to elite Ghoulim. Still not insane. It's still not that insane. But all right, so we have what looks like a scout opening here for Uzzi. He wants to open strong. And for Kamigawa, he's just going to start walling up here. No sign from me that he's actually going to compete in Feudal Age at all. But you'd think he would wall a little faster than this if that's the case. Now, he really has delayed his walling here. And if you delay your wall... Okay, he clicks up now. But even still, I mean, this scout could always pick off a Vil that's walling. So you have to be careful. And he's just going to open up with archers, it looks like. Oh, same bracket as Licks? Yeah. Are they on opposite sides of the group? Or are you saying they're on the same side of the bracket in that group? I think, now that I think about it, JBR, I think it is... I think my expectation was that it would be Uzzi and Licks facing up against each other in round 3. But it's been a long time, so... Trevor, the group is... Or sorry, the bracket is a single elimination bracket. But it's sectioned off into 9 groups, essentially. Because you need to make it to the top 9, so... Interesting walling from Kamigawa. I mean, the scouts could definitely get in. There's still so many gaps. There's a gap here that's vulnerable. There's a gap here that's vulnerable. Here. Even just 2 scouts could do more damage than you'd ever want to allow here. But I guess the Eagle's back here, so it kind of protects things. But yeah, I'm just a little underwhelmed by the lack of walling. Like, that's something you want to prioritize big time here. Kamigawa is going to be working hard. Uzzi, he's going to be flying. Okay. Ghoulim should have no bonus damage versus Eagles. I agree. You know, Hindustanis are one of the best counters to Knight civilizations, and they're one of the best counters to Archer civilizations and Eagle civilizations. I'm not saying Hindustanis are as strong as they were when they first came out, but I agree with you on that. But it is how it is right now, and we'll see whatever changes, if anything changes. Very good hits there for Kamigawa. He needed that, and he needed these walls down too, which he's getting. So, all things considered, it's looking a little better for him at the moment. Couple walls. Kamigawa playing safe over here as well, and he's secure. Now, I noticed that Uzzi has walled in the stone. That's something to think about, but he is adding an archer range for now, which I like a lot, because you need some skirmishers, you need some army other than scouts to be able to defend from this. Especially because your gold's pretty exposed here. See this gold here? And then the other gold is... Oh my god, all the way over there. That's actually really bad. We're going to have to take a look at that one. I've never seen... I mean, it's not game-changing necessarily. I mean, I take it back. I don't think it should be that far away. JBR reminds me, get this script if you can, or just like send the rec to T West and say it's worth trying to avoid this for the next season. This is the exact same script we used before. That, like, if that were to happen in some situations, that could be game-breaking for sure. So obviously, I think he's fine right now. Because, like, he did really thorough scouting, and he can't see 3 tiles of gold. Enough where a player would think this is a bugged map. So, advantage Kamigawa as far as that's concerned. And we're going to see skirmishers. Now, thing about this Civ is they have fully upgraded skirmishers. So, you might want to get excited about the Golem, but you can get excited about the Skirms. Skirms is completely fine. It's also much easier than getting to stone and waiting for a castle. So, I think Uzzi has played this perfectly so far. And he's going to have full map control, it looks like. The only big downside is that skirmishers cost food, scouts cost food. He's just investing a lot into feudal, which could lead into a situation where we see some eagles from Kamigawa in the long run. But yeah, I think Uzzi has shown how skilled he is so far. Now, a little bit of a woo-woo-woo. I think he's played really well. Not a fan of the blacksmith position. Would prefer it's part of the wall, but he's obviously working on a lot of different things here. And Kamigawa fully recognizes that this is going to be an issue for him, so he's even dropping additional houses here. Not bad. Didn't Lick say he didn't want to play tournaments anymore? Players go through... Oh, by the way, Hindustanis have a bonus where their scouts do more damage against... Or their stable units now do more damage against buildings, which includes their scouts. It used to be just camels in the past. So this is actually going to be way more annoying than Kamigawa would ever face against any other Civ. Like, look how fast the house goes down. It's only 4 scouts. Or, excuse me, 5. He's not expecting this. This is not a situation that he's faced up against too many times, I'm guessing. Oh, God. He still hasn't clicked up yet. The house could still go down yet again. The skirmishers are hitting the archers, and Kamigawa's struggling, man. Uzzi's play this very clean. Yeah, so players go through... Like, I've been around a really long time, okay? I have seen more people say that they're retired from AoE 2 than have actually retired from AoE 2. Let's just say that. Players taking breaks, players saying they hate the game, players doing this, players doing that. It just happens from time to time. Lix has never been a player who's been fully committed towards playing 1v1 tournaments anyways. But yeah, there was a point where he said that he was kind of finished doing competitive team games. From what I heard, though, it was just a statement he made after, you know, he ended up losing. And fans blamed, like, he and Yo lost, and the fans blamed him because Yo was, like, a god in China. And so I think, you know, you're emotional after you lose, and then people blame you. You might be like, fine, I'm not going to play anymore. But yeah, he's always been around. Okay. Villagers on stone now. I mean, Uzzi has played this so clean, man. Look at how much work Kamigawa's had to do. He had to wall a lot. He moved out, lost his army. Now he's had to make more army. He's pulling villagers constantly to try and defend. Uzzi's playing like a player who knows he's way better. And knows he's got possibly even the better civilization. So good from Uzzi. I think Uzzi, speaking of licks, I think Uzzi can beat licks. I think the motivation level's higher for Uzzi. Like, Licks has been around the competitive scene a very long time. He doesn't feel like he won't feel like he has anything to prove. Not that Uzzi hasn't been around for a long time too, but like, for those that don't know, he took a break. I hadn't seen him on the ladder in like 6 months, and when he's been back now, and he's just been flying. So annoying. This little stable, all stable units having bonuses against buildings is situational, but it's actually so helpful in these small little spots. Remember when Hera retired for LOL? Yeah, I remember when Doubt told me. In general, guys, you just can't. You could trust what casters say. You can't trust what players say. All right, take it from the caster. Doubt told me, T90, give up on AoE 2. Please host Hidden Cup in AoE 4. 3 months later, he hates AoE 4. And he feels like I felt like AoE 4 the first time I saw it. I could go down the list of my lovely friends and players and the things that they have said. But I won't do that, because if I do that, then you guys are going to go down the list of the promises I've made that I didn't follow up on. So actually, I take it back. Can't trust casters either. Oh, man. So there's the castle, and that's like a wah, wah, wah. That's a painful thing to see. Oh, there's a hole. Oh, but the TC blocks the hole. Oh. Well. I mean, I don't really know what your game plan is long term here if you're Kamigawa, except holding that middle from Uzzi. Uzzi's played this so clean. Wood upgrade, farm upgrade. He pulled villagers off of stone at the perfect time so he could get the TC, and he could even get another town center, too. Look at his resource balance. It's sick. And Kamigawa is feeling this pressure of, like, I've got to kill now because it only gets worse for me with the Gulam. And Uzzi's just taking his time. The castle position's perfect. The house walling here is perfect. The eco buildup is absolutely perfect. He does see this gold now, by the way. Mr. T90, never did I think I'd use Facebook again, but here I am, re-registered purely so I could watch your live streams. Legend. Hey, thank you. I know it probably was like a pinch yourself moment to do that. And I appreciate you being here. Thanks for the support, too, with the sub. Okay, so this unit does pass-through damage. It does bonus damage against eagles. It also is anti-archer. This unit destroys everything Kamigawa can possibly make, except for maybe the plumed archers, which we talked about earlier. Yet again, though, I have to commend Uzzi on how clean he's played with everything. He's never taken a bad engagement this game. The Eagles are actually doing a decent job at the moment. This town center as well just seems so well timed. And here he takes a little engagement, gets a couple pickoffs. There's obviously more Eagles, and there's full armor. So, you know, these upgrades can certainly make a little bit of a difference here. But Uzzi should never force a bad fight, because he knows his economy is probably better, and he knows his unit is really hard to stop in the long run. 3 TCs for Kamigawa. He's actually ahead in villagers at the moment. Missing out on wheelbarrow and the wood and the farming upgrade, though, so those things will add up in the long run. It feels like all Uzzi's going to build up towards here is going to be a next castle right about here, or if he has full control, he will castle the middle. Both players are going to be heading to stone, so they can try and do that. Let's look at resources collected, actually. I'm kind of curious about that. Okay, so it's very close. It's purely army comp at this point, right? Are the new capture age icons at the top for building requirements to go up to the next age? You mean these things? Yeah, they've always been there, but I never really talked about them. It's more of a thing that you guys could look for to see if he has the buildings or not. But even when I'm casting, if I'm like, oh, so-and-so doesn't have the buildings, I actually never look here. But that's what that is. So, like, the third one is a castle. And the other bars there are resources, too. So this kind of explains it. Obviously, there's big paragraphs there. I don't want that up on screen the whole time. Yeah, I think the red is food. And the yellow is gold. And I think they've been there for a very long time. Like this from Uzzi, a little bit of stonewalling. Finding his gold now, I'm sure he's happy about that. Little surprised to see the siege workshop because I'm not sure he'll need it, but I could be wrong. We're going to have some monks, and I mean, Kamigawa has more population right now. I'm just feeling like it's inevitable that the Ghoulims will win, but that might not be the case. Mayan fully upgraded Elite Eagle definitely beat Elite Ghoulim, right? Well, the civilization has 9 range hand cannons as well. So they would switch into something mixed with the Ghoulims if it got to that stage, you would think. Also, it's a cost thing, and Ghoulims don't cost near as much gold. But, yeah, in a 1v1, Elite Eagles actually trade better than you think after El Dorado. I wonder how much conversions and healing could make a difference here. Let's see where Uzzi places his next castle. Feels like it'll be here, because there's just way too much going on the hill right now. Yeah, I think there was only one time I saw Mayans versus Hindustanis where we saw the Elite Eagles, and it was Jordan versus Tato in Red Bull. And pretty much exactly what I said happened. The Ghoulims traded well enough, and then hand cannons made the difference there, because they also have that. And 3 Barracks Eagles have the same production rate as 1 Castle Ghoulim. Really? Is that actually true? I know Ghoulims produce fast. All right. There's a TC here for Kamigawa. That's TC number 4. It's been 3 TCs for Uzzi. I don't think Kamigawa will be happy to see that. But at the same time, he still has the potential to hold the hill here. Kamigawa's played super well, guys. Again, this is a guy who doesn't play a lot of 1v1s. Mainly plays a lot of team games with players like Ganji you might know. I forget who else is on ROR of note that you might know. Sorry, ROR. Because some of the ROR players have switched over to other teams, too. Don't play together all the time. And, okay, there's going to be a castle from him. He's got to pull his army over, though. Oh, boy. Well, let's see. It's full upgrades on the Eagles. Also, the Lions attacking, which is kind of stressing me out because I hear the all the time. Feels like this is an amazing engagement for the Ghoulims. The way they're engaging here is amazing. Oh, my goodness. The way they work, they do damage to multiple units at once if the units are stacked. And while there is more HP here for Kamigawa, some expensive losses for him, and he's still not able to make his castle yet. All that said, the trades look pretty decent. Mangonel's going to go down, but we've got Ghoulims on the hill now, as well as siege elephants. And I think we know where the next castle is going to be for Uzzi, don't we? It was a calculated move from him. Went for the raid. Kamigawa had to pull off the hill to respect that raid. And now we're going to see the Vills from Uzzi come here and drop a castle in the perfect spot at the top of the hill. Probably also in a position to be bold enough to drop it forward, too, if he really wanted to. But he's not going to do that for now. Again, I'll restate what I said earlier. I think that Uzzi has played this game absolutely perfect. From Feudal Age onwards, everything has been so crisp and clean for him. The only thing that I could really be critical of is at this point... Well, okay, he's literally doing it. I was going to say, at this point, you want to get chainmail armor. Now, there is also a weakness... I mean, there's like, I'm really reaching for straws here. I think Hindustanis are busted in this situation. But, you know, thinking of positives for Kamigawa, if Uzzi wants to go for Trebs, he has to use his castles, which means he can't make more Ghoulims. That's not a problem for Kamigawa because he's just producing out of his barracks. Kamigawa also does have a lot on gold. Oh, man. Don't tell me these things. This is actually really smart. Like to see Kamigawa convert this elephant, though. It's kind of the same thing as before. Uzzi's hitting different angles and pulling Kamigawa away, forcing Kamigawa to react. Okay, Elite Eagle's on the way. Eldorado's really expensive. Okay, back to the hill goes Uzzi. 40 seconds away from Imp. Uzzi has to get houses! No! That's so sad. But actually, I wonder if he could kill these things before they're elite. With Elite Eagle, I wonder if this is actually good for him. He's obviously lost a lot of eco over the last few moments. And a lot of control. Still a hole. No Elite Golem. We've got Elite Eagle. I mean, the numbers aren't there. I guess he'll clear this, though. I mean, I guess that's a positive. Kind of. Yeah, this is a huge positive. Woo. Yay. Okay. Well, that's horrible. Elite's going to be in a second. And then the Shred pops out for Kamigawa. The Eagles were trying to come back to the position. Kamigawa knows he needs to push. And he's going to lose this Treb now. Still can't afford Eldorado, Mr. Kamigawa. And he's still got Golems all up in his business. 24 villagers killed in this game from Uzzi. He's only lost one. And he's looking untouchable right now. And this is the unit that we've been talking about over the last 10 to 15 minutes. And for Kamigawa, I think he's just going to have to look at this and say, well, crap. I don't know how I'm supposed to beat this guy if he's got this Civ and I've got Mayans. This is before the hand cannons, by the way. Still no hand cannons. And see Uzzi. Yeah, obviously he's going to take this engagement, and he should destroy. I think the Eagles get massacred without Eldorado here. And that they do. Do need to produce them out of the castles, but it's so easy to do it if you play as clean as Uzzi has this game. And we might see the GG called here once these Trebs get sniped. I think to quote Dave, he said, like, this seems like one of the most lopsided Civ matchups in the game that he's seen in a very long time. And while I think there's opportunities for the Mayans, if the Hindustani player plays like Uzzi played here, you've got no chance. I think regardless of how you play it too. Like, maybe I think fast castling into plumes behind walls is the only win condition for Mayans. But Uzzi is clean, man. He's so clean how he plays. Also, that production is insane. The production speed on this unit's ridiculous. We had like 6 barracks over here. Yeah, 6 barrack production. For a while, it was only 1 or 2 castles. I guess he's up to 4 now. You could see the total units produced there. He ended up producing more Golems. But yeah, they just trade so well. Very good play there from Uzzi. Disappointing start for Kamigawa, obviously. We'll move on to the next game here shortly. In this game, though, there was never a point where I felt like Uzzi was going to lose. So good. Like, and I feel like it's really important to restate that because the civs aside, he made it look so easy. Like, he didn't overmake scouts. He didn't overmake skirms. His positioning was always clean. He even had like a really unfortunate gold position that we're going to have to look at and try and fix with this map gen. He locked it down. The scout and the skirms got more value than you would ever have wanted with little investment. His uptime was great. The timing, even just like the castle goes up, but at the same time, his second TC is going up. And then his eco upgrades came in. I mean, whew. He's a beast. All right, game 2 here. And we've got Saracens versus Dravidians. Interesting. Kamigawa's home map. He got massacred in the first game. He played good, macro-wise, army production-wise, but he got massacred. What's the approach here going to be? I don't know. The more I watch this, the more I feel like the water might actually be kind of overrated. I've seen a couple players just skip the water, and especially if you're pretty close to someone, you could do some crazy things. There's also so much food. You've got 150 food per water buffalo, and there's 8 of them. Or 9, actually. No, 8. 400 food per rhino. Then you have the deer. Then you have the berries. So we'll see. Chat, you only need to set latency to normal to fix the delay. Yeah, I mean, you guys can help each other with that, but hopefully it's not much of an issue. So the plan currently, guys, is in 20 minutes to cast Ozone versus Siscon, which will be a good set. Ozone, I think, is chilling out in chat at the moment. Wish you luck, man. Just stick to your game. Stick to your game plan. Play to your strengths. Don't think too much about it. You'll be sick. Yeah, Dravidians get plus 200 wood when they arrive to the next age. They also get 5 pop space when they build a dock. So, I mean, it seems like Kamigawa is going to focus on water. Wait, Sizcon gave admin win to Ozone? Really? Huh. Wow. Okay. So Ozone will just move on. Who does Ozone play next, potentially, then? But we'll cast something else, then. I guess congratulations to Ozone. By the way, JBR, did you hear that Uzzi Cody gave me admin win because he was having PC issues yesterday? I think you should go fix the bracket. Well, if he can get his PC fixed, I'd really like to see that set played because Sizcon is a really good player. And I think that you don't want to see an admin win in that round. I'd prefer to see those players play because they're both so talented. But yeah, I guess they're going to work it out with JBR, who's the admin, so. All right, so there's the dock for Kamigawa, to be expected. I mean, I'm just assuming full water is the play here. Like, I could see fire galleys and demos being the plan. But I don't know. I don't think Uzzi's going to do that. He's going to go barracks now. And he's trying to find his opponent. And if he can find his opponent, the Drush could affect the fishing ships, but also any of the villagers. All right, good. Good to hear. Also, man, the water buffaloes groan so loudly. Does that bother anybody else? Like the water buffalo rumble, and then also the llama's screech. Both things affect me greatly. The other thing that's wild to me is, and it's an audio thing with the game that's like so silly of me to get hung up on, but I do because I'm on this game my whole life. Is sometimes when a game finishes and you're at the end game screen, even if there's no water, you hear waves. I don't know why that is. No water on the map, and then the game's over, and you just hear the whoosh, whoosh. You just hear all the waves. It's so weird. Okay, Uzzi. It's like, I don't want to hit a TC here, so I got to hug wood lines. And so now he could gather. He saw the lumber camp here, and he can gather the TCs probably here, and he's looking for a dock. Or he might not be looking for a dock, but he's not adding fishing ships, so he's behind an eco. Now he's looking for a dock. He'll see the dock here in a moment. And there's no loom at the moment for Uzzi. Or not Uzzi, sorry, Kamigawa. Oh, he could lose 2 vills. Oh, this is so bad. The loom timing is just a little bit off. It's still, it's going to be 2 dead vills here. He's got to use his fishing ship to block. Oh, that hurts so much. I mean, I don't know Kamigawa's strength with quick walls these days. But I feel like we're at a point now where this villager should always die at anyone at a high level because the scout's just a blocker instead of actually hitting. Hitting opens up an opportunity for a quick wall. And he's actually pulling. This is smart, I guess. He's going to pull to kill the vill. And then the fishing ships are going to go down to the militia. No attempt at a quick wall whatsoever there from Kamigawa. That was a painful loss indeed. We'll see what he wants to do from here. And we'll see what his opponent wants to do from here as well. Uzzi now loses his scout. And Uzzi's still adding vills. He could click up to feudal age. If he canceled that vill, he could have done so. Okay, a couple of villagers on the gold for Kamigawa. Keep in mind, no barracks for him. Doesn't have the wood for the second dock yet, but he'll get plus 200 wood when he arrives to the next age. To me, this looks like fast castle from Uzzi. I think he'll be happy with the amount of kills he got. The possibility for Kamigawa to go land, though, is pretty sick, actually, because he'll get all that wood. And he's going to go Fire Galley first. I like the idea, since you lost vills and you don't see your opponents up yet, to go for fishing ships, too. I would like to see a little bit of land control, too. It's really hard to know how to spend your wood. Hard to believe that people this good at 2 leagues are below the top guys. Yeah, I mean, Duke, to be fair though, I think Uzzi is like really close to being gold. Uzzi and Licks is gonna be an absolute banger if that happens. And that, I believe, like winner of that series, I'm trying to remember this entire 140 person bracket, which is so tough. But that's the series that most likely will happen if Uzzi wins this. And I think winner of that series ends up getting into gold. So, but they're really, really good. Also, Scout being this week is actually really nice for Uzzi because he doesn't have to worry about a fuel-age Scout on full HP picking anything off here. Okay, so additional fishing ships is exactly what Kamigawa wants to do. Now he's adding the barracks as well. He definitely feels like he needs to apply some pressure. I think an underrated move for Uzzi in the next stage is to go stable. Because a couple knights can actually fight off fire galleys and the fishing ships. More successful than archers can. The instinct is to go archers, and I understand it. But Navy can actually hold against archers. And he is going to go for the range anyways. Hello, Baskets. Games have been really good. Games have been good. We'll have more games today, too. Also, Samu, thanks for the compliment. I will not do a camel sound, but shout out to Joel for the water buffalo quote from VeggieTales. Something super annoying for Uzzi would be if this fire galley hit his barracks or his house. He should be able to hit either. I could be wrong, but feels like slowly taking down the barracks and attacking that would just put some pressure on his opponent. Yep, he sees the archer range. And Uzzi knows exactly where his opponent is. His militia have scouted everything. And he's going to sneak a villager out here. Look, he even sees this scout. And Kamigawa doesn't have a range yet. No, he does, excuse me. And he's not making army. He just wants castle age desperately. He's going to buy some food here in a second. 10 fishing ships. But yeah, I agree with you, Duke. Like, I didn't mean to diminish your words there with what you said. Like, you're trying to compliment these talents, and I agree. And it's just like, I'm so excited to be able to see players like this play on a more regular basis. And then, if you lose, like, let's say someone loses, like me in round 2, and you're like, dang, I'm bummed. It's not like, oh, you have to wait another year and a half, and then you might lose again. It's like, wait 6 months, boom, there's your next opportunity. Like, learn some lessons, better your play. That opportunity is going to be calling in another 6 months. And that's, I think, overall, like, what's really cool about the whole league format and the consistency of it. So, and I can't confirm or say a lot about it just yet, but I'm confident that this will be funded for the long foreseeable future. And whatever structure we have currently with it, I believe will only either stay the same or only get better over time. Siege Workshop. Oh, man. Not only do Saracen archers already destroy buildings pretty quickly, but the Siege Workshop. Oof. Massive eco lead for Kamigawa, right? Oh, man, he's got so much food income. I'd be making skirms. Dravidians, their skirms fire faster, so I think that's his plan. And that's why Siege is so essential here. I really like the addition from Uzzi. He's pretty all in here, guys. He doesn't even have much food. He needs to kill fast. And Kamigawa's got a big population lead. His resources are probably looking much better as well. He's brought in way more despite losing the eco early. And the crossbows show up. But there's more skirm production. Okay, so something Kamigawa needs instantly is a Siege Workshop. And actually, he'll have so much wood, I think Town Center to protect this whole area and Siege Workshop would be really good. Because this house is going to go down fast. Uzzi should probably just attack the house. Just so he can break in. So much more wood than you would normally do. Okay, Siege Workshop. That's obviously perfect. Elite Skirm, Bodcanero. That's all really good too. Do we see a Town Center as well from Kamigawa? Because you never know. Oh, he's playing with fire. That's so good from him, though. Just to delay. Oh, he needs the gold. He needs the gold. He needs the gold. There's the Mangonel. This is so scary. Uzzi's a micro master, and he knows he needs to kill fast here. Let's see what happens. He only has 5 crossbow, though. Still missing the volleys. Mangonel's on the way from Kamigawa. Love the patience. Love how he's playing it so far. This is actually really smart. Force the crossbows to run back to save the Mangonel. Then pop out with your own. Ah! He's too close! Ah! Got it. Easy. Calculated. Kamigawa with a great lead here. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Great stuff from Kamigawa. Has lost villagers, but now he's on town centers. And that was it from Uzzi. That was all he had. It did get awkward there, don't get me wrong. Uzzi's going to drop a town center now. And Uzzi with no attempt to get back on the water this game. Just kind of gave up on that. Kamigawa has still been fishing like a madman towards the center. This is going to be nice for Kamigawa as well. He's going to snipe this Vil. I think, honestly, like, he shouldn't put too much focus on this. He might prefer to just clear up the siege workshop before he does anything else. But realistically, you don't want to spend too much time here when you have army to move out with. Because then this can happen. And then you're starting to lose army, and it gives Uzzi a chance to come back on the water. And yeah, I mean, quite a few skirmishers did go down there. Had he rolled over here with the Mangonels and the skirms right away and just kind of walled this off, I think he could have had a bit more success. But then again, Uzzi could have more success with the attack. So it's really tricky. This is something not sure Kamigawa actually noticed, by the way. He's not producing anything more on water. I think his unit was just there. 35 eco versus 44. And the fish is still flying, though actually a couple of fishing ships have gone down, and crossbows are now moving this way. So Uzzi's using this time perfectly. Sad thing for him, though, is that, like, he really is going to need defense at home as well. Neither player, or sorry, I guess Kamigawa more specifically doesn't really have that much farming eco. So you can't rely on only the fishing ships in the long run, and this is good from Uzzi. This is the start of something that could be really good for him. Now Kamigawa realizes, and now Kamigawa is adding more fire galleys. There's more fish on this version of Golden Swamp, right? I don't think we made a change to the amount of fish, Ozone, compared to the latter version, but it is possible there is more because we made it more balanced with how it generates. That was interesting. Yeah, like, basically what we did compared to the latter version is we just made things more balanced with how they generate, which could, in theory, lead to more fish. Okay, can Uzzi defend from the siege push? He hasn't done a ton on water, but I feel like how much Kamigawa has invested into the water has been really, I don't want to say good for him, but it's freaked Kamigawa out. Like, Kamigawa didn't focus on land as much because of the water aspect. We'll see. Bootyco's looking good for Uzzi. Now the siege is going to be knocking on his door. This is a good town center, though. It does give him access to gold over there if he needs it. So he's probably going to have to abandon this, and there he goes. And I would expect a siege workshop to go up in his base here any moment now. And he's trying it. He needs the wood right now, and he's going to have to scramble this down fast. Still not doing it. That fire should be pretty ineffective. Skirmishers and fires moving out this way. Oh, the siege workshop's here. I missed it. Sorry. And Kamigawa looking to take it to the third game. The Italian Stallion. I don't think anyone's ever called him that before, but this is the first time I've casted an Italian in TTL Silver, so. We'll be casting Shades up against the Argentinian beast, Manos, later on today. Shades is another Italian player. I don't think Rise signed up. Rise is a really good Italian player, too. I think he's had the greatest peak out of all the Italians I can think of, besides Vodka, who was in gold in the first season but got relegated and didn't sign up this time to try and get back in. The thing I'll say about Uzzi is, like, and he showed it in the previous game, it's like the longer the game goes, the smoother he can play, and he's obviously lost control here, but I have faith in the guy because I've seen how good he can be, and I think he could bring this back if Kamigawa doesn't go for the kill. Like Kamigawa dropping a castle or something would be really successful in most cases. Got a couple archers being made by Uzzi somewhere. What? Oh, I looked at the wrong player. Sorry. Archers are being made by Kamigawa. That makes more sense. Who's still on 2 TCs, but is going to have the 3rd TC there and a monastery towards the center as well. But lost his mangonel on this side. So Uzzi's got the better of the KD. And continues that trend. Oh, sheesh. This is also really annoying. You ever just see things and you're just like, ah! That's so frustrating. That's what I see there. But, I mean, one night will clear it up, and that's what Uzzi's going to do. Kamigawa could have gone for, like, galleons to range some of the buildings here. We got Uzzi sneaking over. Uzzi's going to add another dock. He's not giving up on water yet. Kamigawa doesn't see this. He must have seen... No, he just lost his skirmishers over there. Knights in. Now, there's going to be a monk out here. So he did a great job of understanding his vulnerabilities. And he's going to be fine. I think Uzzi needs to commit more to the docks if you're going to do this, though. This is far too close to the enemy, but maybe not. Now we have villagers on stone for Kamigawa, which seems correct, but Uzzi has enough for a castle already. Also, no war galley upgrade, right? I feel like the war galley upgrade could also be on the cards here. There's a lot of different things you could do. This map's not easy to play. God, this feels so important, though. She's an absolute beast. Also, houses, Uzzi. Houses. There he goes. The mangonel is also going to be clutch. There's nothing out here that can really hit the mangonel. Also, demos. Where are your demos? Oh, big shot. There's the war galley upgrade, though, for Kamigawa. And he should just continue to produce on the water and pressure these docks and wait till he can get a castle up towards the middle. Guys, there's actually a chance that Uzzi could make a mad dash to the middle and just drop a castle here. I know it seems ridiculous, but he might try it. I think even a castle on your shoreline, like right here, is really good. That way you could definitely stay on water instead of getting pushed off. Kamigawa's got the lead, guys. He showed what he could do with the macro and the boom in the first game, but it was the civs that was a big problem for him. And look at that. He notices that mangonel's close to going down, but he can't get it. Can he? He gets to get the repairville first. Dang, so well played. So well played. Beautiful micro here as well. Wow. Wow. Team game player turned 1v1 player yet again. Let's go. Sick. By the way, so he doesn't play a lot anymore, but there's this other Italian player. I bet you most of you guys don't know who this player is. His name was Pete Martell. Okay? And as far as I knew, back in like 2015, 2016, there was an Italian player, Pete Martell, and then there was this Italian player, Kamigawa, and I thought they were buddies. Everyone thought they were buddies. I found out that they were brothers when I met them at a LAN. And again, I forget the exact year. And it blew my mind, man. And I actually played Pete on ladder last week, so he plays on occasion. There haven't been many stories like that over the years. Of, like, brothers both being really good at the game. Free Carto, man. That was back when you had to play for cartography. They didn't have to. They just had to put their computers next to each other, and they could see each other's point of view easily. Oh, Knight's got in here, but I'll tell you what, guys. I think Kamigawa's going to close this one out. He's on the way to Imp. Uzzi does have a castle here, but Uzzi has just lost so many docks. Every time he's tried to go back in the water, it hasn't worked. The castle position for Kamigawa is in the middle, which will allow him to make trebs. These knights were annoying and actually killed a lot of eco. I might have missed some of it, truthfully. But, I mean, that should be dealt with. Great job from Uzzi, though. Well, actually, Uzzi's imping. How did he imp? I didn't see he had the resources. Maybe he had a lot of villagers queued. Yeah, Matchlawa and Turkish Trading Endurance. Now, they're not, like, as high level. But they're from the community, and they played in community games, and I didn't know they were brothers until I met them at a LAN. And also, the only other... There were Irish brothers. I think they were twins, actually. Melkor and Fëanor, who don't play anymore. They were about Kamigawa and Pete Martell's level, for what it's worth. Maybe a little higher, actually. Oh, man. You've got to close this out if you're Kamigawa, right? Like, you have the water control. You have the middle control. These two knights, man. These two knights have been so annoying, though. They haven't just killed villagers, but they've added to inefficiencies in the economy here. Fast fire ship and bracers. So we're probably going to see a mix of fires. And we're also going to see a mix of galleons. And finally, we have the war galley upgrade for Uzzi. But again, like, these knights have been so good here from Uzzi. Lack of ballistics has definitely been a bit of a problem here for Kamigawa while trying to chase this down. We don't really have a lot else at the moment for Uzzi. You know, it's just going to be water control. Saracen galleys do fire faster, which is always nice. But we have the first Treb on the way now for Kamigawa. Rage and Daywalker are also brothers in the DM. Oh, really? I didn't know that. I don't know as much about DM players, though, so that's pretty cool. I am familiar with the players, though. Kamigawa and Pete still play 1v1 tourneys of the Italian community. Recently, there was one on mixed maps with no farms allowed in Castle Age. Interesting. Sounds like some quirky settings there. Let's see if Kamigawa can close this out. He's coming in with fast fires, and it's just got to be Trebs here, right? Trebs and castle drops. If you could have another castle here, it'd be awesome. To me, it feels like the fire ships are going to be enough of a buffer here where he's going to be able to push this castle down. And if that castle goes down, I don't see a way back for Uzzi. We're going to a third game. Which has been the theme, by the way, of rounds 2. I mean, I haven't seen all the games, but it feels like every set that I've covered, almost every set I've seen has gone to 3 games. Even if 50% do it in the second round, that's still pretty insane. A little side push here from Uzzi. He's not one to give up, so he's going to try and pressure there. But it seems like as he does that, he's just going to lose the entirety of his main eco. And I just don't think he's ever really going to have the time here. If he had 6 stables and 1,000 food in the bank, I'd think differently. He's got 2 stables and he's got no food in the bank. And what the? Okay, those villagers are crazy. All right, only 1 died. Worth it. TC will go down. Crossbows will kill the villagers. There'll be Arbalest soon. There's a castle here now. Yeah, Metal vs. Wong. That was awesome. Was that actually one of the first videos you watched from me, Baskets? I didn't know that. It's been a long time since since those days. All right, GG. Let's go. We got a series. For perspective, I think Kamigawa right now is like 2K. Last I checked, he was 2K. Last I checked with Uzzi, he's 2350. So I think Kamigawa's got the potential, if Elo matters to you, to be like 2150, 2100 on Arabia. But, you know, the first game, obviously, he got smacked. Second game, he's now responded. He did a really good job this game after losing those 2 villagers to focus on the water and then protect himself from that early push from Uzzi. Now, I think Uzzi's approach wasn't bad, but he really has to get back on the water sooner. And I think the way it was supposed to work in his mind was he does a little bit more damage with his initial push. So Kamigawa was like, recovering here. And then during that moment, Uzzi docked. Instead, Kamigawa basically, well, he didn't take no damage, but he took very little damage to the initial attack and stopped it like dead right away. And then when Uzzi was going to switch back on the water, Kamigawa already had all this control. So I understand the thought process, but Kamigawa just played it really well. Had better eco this game in pretty much all categories. And we move on to game 3. All right. Actually, funny story. So the clip-on headphones that I use are actually one of the... Like, the only reason I knew these things existed was because I wore these headphones with my... This is a little embarrassing. I wore these same headphones when I listened to my first MP3 player. And I remember listening to the From Under the Cork Tree album, Fall Out Boy. So someone tell me what year that was. But legit, my first MP3 player ever. I was on the bus. I could fit like 1 or 2 albums. It was From Under the Cork Tree and Chicago Was So 2 years ago, I think. Great albums, by the way. And I had these clip-on headphones. So just for the extras YouTube people later, these same clip-on headphones. Not the same pair, but the same type of headphones. And I still wear them to this day. So I just hate change, man. I hate change. All right, so this is huge, man. Like, this is a huge game. Like, if Uzzi loses this game, it is a massive upset. We've got Persians for Kamigawa and then Japanese for Uzzi. I like both these civs a lot. For Japanese, I think they're the better civ here. But I think the key difference with all the bonuses that you might talk about with these civs is that Persians feel like impossible to take off of water. And that's because their docks have extra HP. Also, shout out to that one time I was casting with MBL a couple years ago, and I said those words while I was casting, and MBL, who had been playing the game probably, I don't know, for 15,000 hours up to that point, said, "What? I thought it was just their TCs have extra HP." So every time I say that about Persians, I just go back to the fact that MBL didn't know that. But yeah, so 3,600 HP on a dock means if you get your dock up on their pond, sure, their fishing ships are really strong because they're Japanese. That's great. But it's like so much harder to take out their dock. We'll see how it goes. Another thing to talk about here is wall potential towards the water. Normally, with the script that we use, it shouldn't be very possible. But like here, for example, if you're worried about someone sneaking onto your pond, you could eventually just wall this way. And I think there's an invitation for Kamigawa to do that because he sees enough openings there. But also the wood lines. I think I would prefer Japanese. I also think I'd prefer Japanese largely because their pikeman line tacks faster and Persians go in the knights a lot. I just find Persians more awkward to play. But I don't think Persians are bad. I think Japanese they also suit the type of player that I think is the more talented player in the game because of all the tiny things you can take advantage of. The cheaper lumber camps, mills, mining camps, that allows you to like squeeze in a couple more military units, slightly faster barracks, slightly faster archery range, which the higher ranked player is normally able to take advantage of more. But yes, Kamigawa lost game 1. He didn't look bad, but obviously he got smashed. Game 2, he recovered super nicely on his home map. I'm excited to see how it goes. And we have more casts coming up later. C-Bomb said something along the lines of T90. I'm not going to be able to catch all this. Is it going to be on extras later? Yes. I have to talk with Hardy about it to like get our schedule figured out because we're basically back in spam content to extras mode for the next month and a half. So things might be delayed for a couple days, but the goal is to get a lot of sets onto extras. So I actually think the extras channel won't have any gameplay footage or any farming sim or anything like that for the next month and a half. I'm always a little torn on that with the extras channel because like anytime you upload a video, you want people to have interest in it. But the extras channel is always nice because we could experiment with different things like farming sim. But if I'm like in the midst of Titans League and we're putting a lot of the extra content there, I wouldn't want... Oh my god, the bird and the scout are going... Oh, they changed directions. Oh god, how did I go backwards? Okay, sorry. We gotta catch up to live time. But, yeah, I wouldn't want someone to be like, crap, this is disappointing. Okay, here comes a forward from Uzzi. Dang, man. What's Kamigawa's scouting like? So he saw the TC. He has to assume the pond is being taken back there. But he's not... It doesn't look like he's really going to go try and be aggressive towards the pond. Looks like instead he's just looking to wall up here. And Uzzi's going max aggression here. Let's see. This is the wall that we talked about earlier. This is something that is definitely going to be pursued by Uzzi at some point. But we've got man-at-arms into a tower rush onto this wood line. Uzzi could also easily snipe this villager. This is very hard for Kamigawa to pull off if the starting scout's here and you don't have your own scout to protect. Uzzi might be a little... I think he's just waiting. I was going to say he might be a little confused because of the pathing on his villagers right now. Because if he clicked back here, his units would start to go this way. And anyways, he's just going to attack the house, and he's going to go for a tower that cannot be seen by Kamigawa. And Kamigawa's going to go for scouts. The scouts takes a lot of time, and when this tower shows up, you're going to have to reposition a lot of vills, and you still need time. Wait for the scouts, and it's just pressure from the opponent. I like how both players are currently adding more fishing ships. And Kami got the wall down that he wanted, but oh, the units can just go right through. It's a multi-purpose tower. And the thing is, you might even need to make a galley right now if you're Kamigawa. It's not so much the units getting in this way, because he's going to protect from that, but it's the fact that he can dock your pond now. That's really unfortunate. And you could sell. That's exactly what Uzzi's going to go for. As we see a tower here to stop from future towers going up. Uzzi doesn't even care. Unbeknownst to Kamigawa, and the galley's too late, by the way. The dock's going to go up, and the galley needs to be canceled here. Oh, panic! Oh, this is so awkward. Anyways, he did cancel it. He's going to make fire galleys. But yeah, amazing play from Uzzi so far. Now, let's look back at home for Uzzi. See what his eco looks like. Looks like he's going to send a vill this way to dock. And he's sending a vill to the north to dock. And he's already fishing continuously at home. He added more fishing ships than his opponent did. Well, the scouts need to counterattack, man. These scouts need to kill villagers now, then. And that's going to be the problem for... that's going to be the issue for Uzzi, because his barracks is in the middle of the map. He can't actually make spearmen. Might actually be worth it for Kamigawa. He might debate on coming back just to clear this right now. Because there's no guarantee he'll do damage here. But he's committed, guys. This is really good. Where will the spearmen go? Uzzi's going to send the spearmen home. And Uzzi noticed it. But he'll lose this vill. Most likely, unless he's an absolute quick wall genius, he will lose this vill. But he doesn't care. He's just going to use this time to wall up everything else. Oh, okay. Quick walls over here from Kamigawa. Range being added. By the way, the water's still a factor here. Fishing ships have been working for Kamigawa, which is a positive. There's a dock that will go up in the north, but the wood's not there yet. The scouts were thinking about checking for it. And then down here, you've got fishing ships from Uzzi. I think Uzzi's in the better spot. He's fishing more. He's got so much more food eco. And also, Uzzi finds a position to be able to kill another villager here. So he's threatened the pond. He's taken 3 ponds. There's nothing worse than investing into the pond that you should have in the first place. That's the way I explain it. Oh, man. And beautiful blocking. Oh, and the scouts got to come back home now. Which is the right play from Kamigawa. He won't lose any more villagers, but big investment into feudal age. And so little investment into the long term. So, I mean, you've got a range. You've been on stone for a while. I would actually like to see a couple skirmishers with the scouts and actually sending vills forward to make it messy and tower your opponent. Also, with all the food income for Uzzi, the natural move now for me is scouts. Look at that. I like how he even has the vills here still to repair. For some reason, they won't repair. Oh, wow. What happened there? That was weird. Really good for Kamigawa, that one. Oh, shoot. Okay. Well, the scouts might actually come over here. Hold on a moment. Kamigawa says, I'm not finished yet, dude. And all the walls also just create this one tile gap that makes it so awkward for the villagers to go through. And Uzzi reacted late. Now, at least kill 2 here. At least kill 2. Okay, kills 2, and then the tower could go down, obviously. We're going to see a stable, an archer range at home for Uzzi. Resources collected. What's it looking like? Much better for, well, a little bit better for Kamigawa. With 11 fishing ships versus 5, I expected it to be a little different than that. Always disappointing when you know your opponent's just going to add some spearmen here, though. But Uzzi only has 1. What a great game here. So I was saying it, in the break. Really shows how good players can be, even if they don't have elo. Like, even if they don't have the same level of elo. Because as these villagers survived, great job. He actually tossed a tower inside the spearman too. In hindsight, probably should have just left the villagers go. But like, Kamigawa was 250, 300 elo below Uzzi in his peak, but also what he has right now. And yet, best of threes, give that opportunity for you. Some players are more suited towards tournaments than others, but I really believe in Uzzi as a player. Like, I truthfully believe this guy was one of the favorites, like I said, to win and get into gold. So, okay. Villager attacking. Scouts are there. And it's going to be double dock from Uzzi. Now, let me check resources collected. Still very surprised. I guess it's like the food that I'm expecting to jump up. Uzzi's got the slightly better structure to go castle. Plus, he's got 3 pawns. Like, that's definitely going to matter in the long run. All that extra stone for Kamigawa isn't helping him right now. But it could help him. Over here, this dock will just sit here forever because it's Persians. And this villager needs to get a dock down. If this villager gets a dock down and Kamigawa clicks up, Kamigawa can take this game. I'd like to see, with that much stone, a couple defensive towers. Oh my goodness. Kamigawa's up. Uzzi's going to have archers, though. This is a great game, man. Does Kamigawa know about the archers? Whew. Get out of here. Get out of here, Kench. Kamigawa's more focused on the pawns. He doesn't know about the archers. So that's a real possibility for Uzzi, who might want to consider mining a teensy bit of stone. So any other dock, and this thing's like halfway down, it feels like, right? But now Kamigawa can wait till he gets the next fire galley. He can add a demo in here too. And then this is the most important area because Uzzi outposted this side. He's actually sending vills this way. But yeah, he's outposted this side, thinking that Kamigawa would always come from this angle. So these fishing ships will likely be cleared up with no defense from Uzzi, which will mean he's going to lose 5 eco. Also, it's now 4 villagers. They're going to go over here. Kamigawa's hunting them down. He's confused. He's like, who built that then? He also doesn't see anything in the tower anymore. Archers have moved out, and archers are killing the vills, and this is left unchecked. And that's going to be a couple villagers down. That's 3 villagers lost. Positive for Kamigawa is there's no holes. Positive for Kamigawa is he's still got this dock. Typically, what you do is you research War Galley at home. And oh, this is going to be perfect, actually. I don't know if he can wait 30 seconds. He might be able to. Yeah, he might win the north there as well. Also, he can win this too. He can kill all these fishing ships. He just needs to not die from the crossbows, and he's going to dominate the water. Where are the crossbows, by the way? The crossbows... Crossbows? Oh, they're here. This is Persians, guys. This is why Persians are insane. Watch this. I don't know where he's going to pop out first. Boom, see ya. Say goodbye to everything. How are you going to compete with that? So, Uzzi's probably thinking, well, it's fine. I've got good land pressure. So this isn't that big of a deal. He's actually going to go cav archers, so that'll be fun. But what he's not realizing is that he's going to lose his fish everywhere else. He thought, I've got 2 ponds. In reality, he's losing every single pond because Kamigawa is hitting all the proper spots with those docks. What a great game from Kamigawa. Again, he's like a player who used to be seen as a pro. Doesn't play in tourneys much anymore. You know, never really committed full time, but has been around the game for a super long time. And look at that Eco KD now, guys. It's only going to get worse for Uzzi. And he doesn't have farms. He doesn't have food eco. He can't produce villagers now. So he has to go all in. And it's got to be wood and gold, and it's going to have to be archers. So for Kamigawa, he needs the siege to come out fast, and he needs the siege to trade against these archers. He hit all 3 pawns. Yes, all 3 pawns simultaneously. That was disgusting. And 2 of the pawns that he hit, his opponent never expected. And you're kind of too far gone at this point, by the way, to fight back on water. It's just not going to be possible. So you just have to give up on it if you're Uzzi. And I think, like, what's he have? 2 ranges right now? He needs 4. And he needs a siege workshop, and it's just got to be crazy pressure because he's just going to be outboomed from here. He's got to somehow force the issue. Great shots there from Kamigawa as he's fortifying up. Feel like this might actually be a shot for Uzzi. He could take out the palisade and run through, possibly. Feels like there's maybe a hole there. Uzzi selling wood and buying food just to produce a few vills. No horse collar either, so his farms won't last very long. Kamigawa is kind of like stuck. And he doesn't actually have the best food eco for a guy with the ponds. Probably could do with adding a few fishing ships in the ponds that he's won. Just like 2 in each would be really nice. And then switch to farms. But he's got siege everywhere. He's like, what are you going to do to break me right now? This is awesome. I feel really bad for Uzzi. But I mean, it's not over yet. He is 3 TCs. And the big question now for Kamigawa is, how do you move out? Because you can't move out with just siege. It doesn't look like he really feels like he wants to move out just yet. It's just macro behind these walls. And Uzzi's able to get a couple things done with this time. He could snag relics. He's taking some of this extra gold, which might become an issue. Keep in mind, this gold and this gold, all exposed. They're Kamigawa's. He's working off of 1 gold right now. I'd said maybe there's a chance you get in through this palisade wall. I'm not certain. We've got a tower here. And okay, Uzzi. He's also going to go for a siege workshop. The negative for Kamigawa is the fact that has no knights, no army presence. And he's going to fix that now by adding stables. Okay. Eco's looking better now for Uzzi. His army presence is still there. And with a couple siege shots, anything can happen. But this should be where the eco starts to look a lot better for Kamigawa with the food count. And that should lead to upgrades with stable units behind. Also, the fact he's been able to get by with some of the stone has been really helpful. Is not pulled off of it yet, but now he does. And he might not even lose a villager there. He knows he needs to push back soon. And obviously, Uzzi needs to continue to push. Now, I think the great equalizer here is going to be the monks. Uzzi might be getting relics right now, but if he had the monks with his siege, it becomes a different situation. In fact, redemption as well could actually be pretty good to convert the siege from Kamigawa. And he's also building up stone here, so Kamigawa needs those numbers fast. Might even be worth idling his town centers for just a minute or two so he can have all his resources dedicated towards army. Not something you think of when you're under pressure, though. You're just constantly producing vills all the time. Uzzi, you gotta go redemption here. At the very least, Sanctity Seer monks have more HP, but I think it's all worth it. Chain barding armor now for the knights that are going to be coming out. You don't even have bloodlines on your cav archers, and you don't have many of them. I think it's going to come down to the conversions. If the monks were in here, Kamigawa would 100% engage. Oh, boy. Oh, boy, guys. This is such a great game. Great job from Kamigawa to get to the winning position, but a great job from Uzzi to keep the pressure on. His eco was a disaster moments ago. And he's bringing villagers forward. He's going to try and deny these golds long term. The knights are being massed. Oh, geez. Everything matters. The siege shots need to connect. There's Sanctity, by the way. There's Bloodlines, too. So the Cav Archers will have more HP. This is such an intense moment. For it to be the final game in the series. There's no recovering from this. And Kamigawa loses his Mangonel. You also have the crossbows over here, which are going to be a nice annoyance while the main push continues. Oh, man. This is intense. Another amazing shot from Uzzi. So now he doesn't have to worry about his ranged units getting hit by the siege. He's taken that out of the picture. Wow, what a recovery. Uzzi's going to lose these crossbows first, most likely. But now he knows. Like, he absolutely knows that the push is going to come because he's starting to see the stables and the knights. Oh, boy. He's got to be patient. There's going to be the castle, by the way. Triple barracks. He wants to switch to pikes. I think Kamigawa's in trouble, guys. He needs to fight this soon. I don't know. Can he do it? Can he do it? The conversions are going to make a big difference here. The siege won't matter so much anymore. This is obviously something we'll pay attention to a little bit too. And look at all the yellow dots and look at all the conversions there from Uzzi. In the end, though, Kamigawa's got a lot of knights. They are Persian knights, so they pack a bit more of an attack against archers. And he's going to take the hill. But look at this castle spot. I think I would have gone for the castle here, and it would be denied right now. And then there'd be big problems. Castle might actually end up going up. Kamigawa, can he actually stop pikemen now? What a ridiculous game. 83 eco versus 75. Cav archers will pull back to the castle. Pikeman upgrade will be in. So it's going to be, I don't want to say easy for Uzzi to defend, but pretty reasonable. He'll have cav archers. He'll have some pikes. He'll have some monks. For Kamigawa, it's now attack mode and trying to shift out to this extra gold, which he's currently doing. Oh, boy. Here he goes. He needs to continue to try and raid. He hasn't been able to expand much. Here he is on the workshop. That's going to be an area he needs to run from, but he's microing this. Lost some knights there. And lost a knight there as well. The army count is just so much higher for Uzzi. And he's got so much vision and so much control. And I think he's going to notice this. How sick would it be if he denies this? Can he select each villager? No. He can't deny it. But he can target it next. Those villagers need to be clicked right now if you're Kamigawa. Kamigawa! No, it's a 99%! Get it up! Disaster! Disaster! What an epic comeback here from Uzzi! And you know he's got to be feeling the pressure, too. He's probably like, Kamigawa? I haven't played this guy on ladder in like 3 years. Of course I'm going to beat this guy. Oh, man. But, I mean, now, with all this gold control, Uzzi, it feels like he's got so much potential. He has probably the better economy at this point. The knights that he's converted can just run right into the eco. There's nothing to really stop these cav archers from doing so either. That's because Kamigawa had to look over here to complete the TC. And Uzzi, if he were to use the market, could go up to imp behind this. And with having the castle, would probably win this game with that. Keep in mind, score, a lot of that does have to do with there being navy on the field right now. You've got 12 ships for Kamigawa. Those ships are not contributing anything to him right now. And even if you lose these cav archers, I think this raid is more than worth it. It allows you to control the rest of the game and the rest of the map. And, oh, he's even going to try and get away here. And, ooh. Okay, he's kind of trapped, but the position kind of helps him too because the knights can't surround. Now, by the way, Uzzi, do you need gold? Can you share some gold with somebody else, man? You greedy guy. Like 3,000 gold right now. Yeah, like I said, this actually helps the cav archers a little bit. You might consider it a trap, but the cav archers can stack. And there goes Uzzi to the Imperial Age. I think Kamigawa's dead at this point. This is an incredible game. So I'm going to tell you right now, YouTube, you're going to see this one. This was the final game in a best of 3 in my Titans League silver bracket. Players are looking to move on to the vacant spots from gold and a promotion relegation system. I hope you enjoyed this game, because this game's been sick. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Kamigawa can bring this back. What a heartbreaker it is for him, too, because he did everything well to get the pawns. But it just was a little too defensive, and the knights needed to come out a little faster, I think. But also, Uzzi had to do so much. He had 2 amazing Mangonel trades. They made a big difference. If it would have been the other way around, the cav archers and the monks would have been pushed back faster. He added his own monks and got lots of, almost a conversion with every single monk. And he's had to recover his economy. This guy doesn't even have horse color yet. So these farms are reseeding all the time. But he had really good vision on the golds, right? Really good vision in general this game. He found this gold too. He's on this gold now too. So he knows where all those golds are. And he's not going to let up. And I think for Kamigawa, actually, well, I'm going to assume the GG was called because this is live and the game is speeding up. We had a spec delay. And do I have it on fast forward? Yeah, I have it on fast forward. So I'm going to assume he calls it GG when he sees him. And yeah, he does. Kamigawa, a great game and a great series. Something to be proud of for a guy who doesn't play as frequently as he used to. Obviously bummed for the guy because I loved the underdog story that we kind of had flowing there for a bit. But that was a treat of a cross game right there. 94 to 93 KD. Look at how many stats are similar here. This is close. This is close. This is close. And value is also really close. And Kamigawa collected more res. You know, I think the thing of it is just purely the position they were able to gain. Back to what I said, though, when the initial push came in here. If Uzzi would have tried to make the castle here, he would have lost all the vills. It would have been a waste of stone, and he probably then loses the game because Kamigawa can actually run through the middle with everything. I mean, it was such a fun one. Like, I can't blame Kamigawa once he got the fishing ships from his opponent to sit back a little bit. We clearly saw how many villagers he had, but I think he maybe overboomed a little bit for a player who didn't have access to a second gold. And tricky stuff. Skirms are tricky, Sophie, too, because of timing. Like, it's really hard to get full upgrades with knights, produce knights out of all those stables, with the siege, too, which you kind of needed, and also the villagers out of the TC, and go into skirms, because then you need 3 ranges, then you also, like, have less space, then you need ballistics, then you need all those blacksmith upgrades. So it's more of a time thing. So, yes, like, skirmishers now would be really good against cav archers and pikemen, but it was very much a situation where knights did the job to push it back. He just didn't get to push it back in time. I think what actually would have been really good is Scorpions. Like, Knight Scorpion makes a lot more sense than Skirm for me because it's less time investment and it kind of does a similar job. But, you know, there's so many deep layers of complexities to it because he will have known he just converted Knights from me. If I make Scorpions, my siege gets picked off. And that's a thing, right? I think Uzzi had like 3 or 4 Knights at that stage. That was a ridiculous game. Like, real ice vein stuff from Uzzi, though, to come back from that. Worst case scenario for him was losing all of his fish. There's the Japanese. He didn't have a single fishing ship at the end, and he got it done. Just crazy stuff. GG. Well played. Hope people enjoyed watching that. Love to see names like this competing and moving on. And I'll be looking out for Uzzi in the future, man. Still one of my favorites to possibly get in through gold with how he's playing. And the next rounds for him are going to be best of 5s, which means it's like less brutal in terms of upset potential because now you need to win 3 games. And, you know, like let's say, you know, this was a best of 5. Kamigawa wins this game. I would still say like Uzzi is probably my favorite because there's more opportunities and chances for him. Anyways, great stuff.